So hello students, let us try to go through another concept. So we are going to the routing protocols, and now we have to deal with concept of link state routing. So in this particular case, what we see is we have this network with us. We have A, B, C, D and E, and there are costs that are associated with the links that exist among these nodes. So here we see that each of the nodes have a common ground knowledge of the entire topology. So as you can see, A has the knowledge of the entire network, D has the knowledge, B has the knowledge, E has the knowledge, C has the knowledge, right? But how is this information going to be constructed, or you can say how this diagram is going to be constructed based on the information that is shared. So what happens is A has the knowledge of the links that exist directly with it. Then suppose A with D, A with C, A with B, right? Similarly for D, D has the knowledge about A, C has the knowledge about A, B and C, and E has the knowledge about C and B, right? So these informations are going to be exchanged among the various nodes, and they are going to collect them and then obtain this particular graph. Okay, so suppose B needs to have the knowledge. So what will happen is B is going to gather the information from A, C, then E, then D, right? So all are going to participate in order to construct this particular topology for B, right? Similarly, in case of A, the same thing is going to happen, and even for D, C and E, right? So based on this particular network that will be obtained after gathering the informations, a particular routing table is going to be constructed. Well, this routing table will have a special property. It is going to have the knowledge of the shortest path from that particular node to all other nodes. So in order to understand more appropriately, let us try to go through the book itself. So if each node in the domain has the entire topology of the domain, which means the list of nodes and links, how they are connected, including the types, cost and condition of the links, whether they are up and down, up or down, the node can use Dijkstra's algorithm to build a routing table. So based on all the informations gathered, a routing table can be constructed after applying Dijkstra's algorithm. Okay, so each node uses the same topology to create a routing table, but the routing table for each node is unique because the calculations are based on different interpretations of the topology. Okay, so the same information is going to be collected by each of them. However, the routing tables will be different because if you consider these routing tables, then they are specifically made for the particular node. So if you look back to this diagram, this table is specifically made for A, this table is specifically made for D, and so on, right? They are very special to this particular to their corresponding nodes. Okay, so let us try to understand more. So if you look to the next diagram, here you see that A has the information that the cost associated with the link, okay, suppose AD, then link AC and AB are 3, 2 and 5. Similarly for B, it is going to be 5, 4 and 3. Similarly for E, it is going to be 4 and 3, right? These values are nothing but, if you look at this diagram, these values are nothing but the cost of the links that are associated with it. Okay, so let us take an example. For E, it is going to be 4 and 3. So if you look here, it is 4 and 3. So if you look at B, it is 5, 4 and 3. So if you look here, 5, 4 and 3. So this information that you see inside the green circle, this is a common, this is the local knowledge of that particular node, which is going to be shared to the or with the other nodes. Okay, so A is going to share this information with D, C, B and E, and B is going to share this information with A, D, E and C and E and so on. All right, and ultimately all the informations will be gathered by each of them, and then they can go for the routing table. Okay, so we are going to understand this, but before going to Dijkstra's algorithm, let us try to go a little further. So the whole topology can be compiled from the partial knowledge of each node. So each node has a local knowledge, local information about the links, right? And when shared and when we have a compiled information, we can design the topology. All right, so as we move forward building routing tables in linked list routing, four set of actions are required to ensure that each node has the routing table showing the least cost node to every other node. So here we concentrate on least cost. Okay, so by least cost we also mean the shortest path. Okay, shortest path is going to have the least cost associated with it. Okay, so these are the four steps that has to be ensured. Number one is creation of the states of the links by each node, called the link state packet. So a packet will be created, okay, where the states of the links are going to be created or are going to be defined. Then number two is dissemination of LSPs to every other router. So a flooding has to be done, and it has to be done in a very efficient way, because whenever we do flooding of information, I hope everybody knows what flooding means in terms of computer networks. So whenever flooding is done, there is going to be huge amount of messages that are flooded across the network or transmitted across the network. So there can be a lot of packets, a lot of traffic can be generated. So we have to ensure that least amount of traffic is created when we do flooding. So we have to take care of that. Then formation of a shortest path tree for each node. So for each node there has to be a tree defined. From Dijkstra's algorithm we can find a tree, and that tree is going to help us to find the shortest path from that particular node to all other nodes. Okay, from a particular node to all other nodes. So that means every tree will be different, right? Because the tree is designed for that particular node rather than for the universally everyone. Okay, then rather than creating a global tree. Okay, then calculation of a routing table based on the shortest path tree. So after we define, or rather after we determine the tree, we are going to go for the routing table. Then we come to creation of linked list packets. So how these packets are basically created and transmitted. So please go through this particular paragraph. Here it says that if you want to exchange packets, then what are the various criteria when you are going to send a packet. So there can be two criteria. One can be whenever there is a change in the topology, okay, of the domain, just broadcast that particular information or flood that particular information, that yes, I don't have the earlier information, or I would say I don't think the earlier information is acceptable anymore, so I now present everyone the change that has occurred according to me. Okay, so that kind of information can be provided. So whenever there is a change in the topology, that information can be delivered to all, or on periodic basis. So it may also happen that okay, there is no change, but periodically you want to just keep updating that yes, everything is fine. So the period in this case is much longer compared to distant vector routing. So it is the span of the duration, I won't say duration, the gap between the two broadcasts or two flooding may be more than distant vector routing that we studied. Okay, as a matter of fact, there is no actual need for this type of LSP dissemination. However, it is done to ensure that all information is removed from the domain. So we keep on updating the information. Okay, sometimes updating may mean that there is going to be no change at all. Okay, we just want to ensure that okay, everything is fine, as we already knew everything is fine, we can continue with that knowledge. Okay, so in those cases we can go for a periodic basis approach. So these two things can be open at any point of time. So that means periodically also you are going to send the messages, and whenever there is a change also you are going to send the messages. Okay, then flooding of LSPs, as I told you, we have to take care of flooding. We cannot just keep on spreading that messages everywhere. Okay, there can be looping also, which is not desired. Like I give the message to you, you again give me back the message to me. This is not required at all, right? So we have to prevent those kind of looping as well. After a node has prepared an LSP, it must be disseminated to all other nodes, not only to its neighbors. Yes, only giving to neighbors is not going to suffice. We need a global knowledge, and if you give only to neighbors, then it is going to take a huge amount of time till everybody knows about everything. Okay, so it is going to take a huge amount of time, and we don't want to do that. We want to send it to everyone. The process is called flooding, and based on the following. So these are the things that has to be ensured. the creating node sends a copy of the LSP out of each interface. So I think everybody knows about interface now. So a machine can have more than one interface, right? I think we studied in case of Snort, Wireshark, etc. So we have to send it through all the interfaces. A node that receives an LSP compares it with the copy it may already have. Okay, if the newly arrived LSP is older than the one it has, then it discards the LSP, okay, found by checking the sequence number. So there are sequence number that are associated with LSPs. This package have sequence number. So if suppose I am a particular machine and I find a older LSP, I already have the updated one, then I'm going to discard that. Okay, if it is new, that is if I see the sequence number and I find that it is a new LSP that I've received, the node does the following. It discards the old LSP and keeps the new one, of course, because we always want the updated one. Then it sends a copy of it out of each interface except the one from which the packet arrived. So suppose there are three interfaces in our machine, right? Suppose it is ETH0, ETH1 and ETH2. So if we receive the packet from or through ETH1, then we are going to again pass it over to others, but not through ETH1 again, but through ETH2 and ETH3. Okay, so we don't give it back to the same interface, we give to the other interfaces. Okay, I repeat once again, if we have three interfaces with us, ETH1, ETH2 and ETH3, suppose a packet comes through ETH1, then we are going to again pass it over to others through ETH2 and ETH3. Okay, then we come to formation of shortest path tree. For this we have to know the Dijkstra's algorithm, which we are going to study next. Okay, thank you.